All right, I think we are up. Think we're up. Does that mean we're up? I'm not sure. I'm gonna say that we are. We're recording, so we're live. Yes, we are officially. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. We are live with season number 2 of the Baseball Odds Watch podcast. I'm so excited to be doing this. I'm doing this kind of on a whim, a little bit impromptu, because the reality is I just needed to get on here, right? I needed to start doing this again, and so here we are. Here we are. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Actually, I didn't really test that, but yeah. Welcome back. There's a lot to talk about. We're over a month in. The storylines are starting to develop, and I think the biggest one right now, which I really want to get into, is Rafi Devers. Rafi Devers saga in Boston. I didn't see it coming the way it is, but this is kind of what we get. This is what you get when you do things a certain way. And I think they've done them that way in Boston. So let's get into it. Devers now is refusing to play first base. I've got my Black Rifle coffee with me. Delicious, by the way, veteran owned. I'm all for anything veteran owned. Rafi Devers is refusing to play first base for the Boston Red Sox. And I got to be honest here. I've seen a lot of bad things said in the last few days about Rafael Devers refusing to play first base. And I got to say, this is not completely Rafael Devers' fault. It's mostly, in my book, not his fault. All right? This is Red Sox ownership's fault. Because how did this go for Rafi, right? You signed him to that big, long contract. You make Devers your franchise. Great. He's your franchise third baseman. Now, it's known that Rafi Devers is in the bottom third when it comes to defense. We get it. But you made that decision knowing this is who he was. And so obviously the offseason becomes, hey, Rafi, we know you can hit. What we need from you is to get better defensively. And so I'm sure he puts in the work. And then right before spring training, so essentially you're thinking rosters are pretty much set, you go and sign Alex Bregman, who, oh, by the way, isn't doing too great defensively either. But you sign Alex Bregman to a 2-year option deal, which is essentially a 1-year deal if he makes it that. And then you tell Rafi, hey, put your glove down. You're going to DH for us. You're going to be our designated hitter pretty much the rest of the way. He doesn't like that because there are certain players, there are certain guys who, in order to stay mentally in the game, they need to play both sides of the field. They need to go out there and stay engaged and play defense. Even if it's not the best defense, that's what they have to do to stay in the game, both mentally and physically. It's difficult. It is difficult to sit for 2 or 3 innings and then go up and hit. And then go sit again. And then hit. That's actually kind of hard to do. Right? It's like if you're doing a workout and then you sit down and then you try to get back into that workout, like all of a sudden that first rep is a little harder again because your body's just not in that same mode anymore. That's why it's easier to hit when you're doing both. when you're playing defense as well, right? I don't like DHing in like softball. I like to be engaged, right? And that's pretty much every baseball player. You don't play baseball to be just a hitter. You play to play, right? He's not a pitcher, right? So you tell him you're just gonna hit. It's all we want from you is to hit. All right, fine. Clearly, it starts not working out, right? It's off to a rough start. Devers goes like 0 for 14 or something like that to start the year, striking out every which way possible. I mean, he looks uncomfortable. Then he finally finds his bat. He gets comfortable with the DH role, starts hitting, and now Tristan Casas goes down. So now it becomes we need someone at first base. Now, mind you, one of the Red Sox top prospects right now is a first baseman. But instead of that, you want Devers to now go play first. Knowing he's a bad defensive third baseman, you now want him to use his glove even more. Because remember, at third base, your main responsibility is a ground ball or two. At first base, you're dealing with every single throw coming from the infield, good or bad. So now you got to make picks out of the dirt, jump up and get high throws, come down and make a tag on a runner, and ground balls, and cut off to home from right field, and trail runner for balls in the gap. So you want him to have more responsibility with this glove than the one you took away from him? In the middle of the season, during the season, might I add. During the season, you're not giving him transition time. You want him there today. I agree with Devers. You're setting him up to fail. There's no way he's going to be a good first baseman. In fact, he's going to soil whatever he's made of his legacy by playing first base. I agree with him. I'm not playing first either. You already told me I'm not good enough to play third. Now you want me to play an even tougher position today. No, find somebody else. He's not wrong there. Because the Red Sox failed to prepare, that doesn't fall on Rafael Devers. Call up the prospect you have who's waiting to get here, who's dying to get here, and let him play first base for you. He belongs there. Casas was struggling before the injury anyway. What's that guy's name? Red Sox. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Roman Anthony. He's an outfielder, but he can play first. And they know this. And he's played first in the minors. Call up Roman Anthony. Call up anybody. Make a trade. I think Anthony Rizzo is a free agent. Sign Anthony. You drafted him. It just, I don't know. I don't disagree with what Devers has had to say about the situation. I don't think he's wrong. I think we're giving him way more credit defensively than we were willing to give him a few weeks ago. And it's worse. So I kind of stand with Devers on that one. But moving on to the rest of the AL East, the Yankees are doing great. Surprisingly, right? Like I didn't think realistically that they'd be as off to the start that they're off to without Garrett Cole. But Max Fried has really stepped it up in a Yankee uniform. On top of that, the rest of the division's kind of sluggish, right? The Red Sox were the team to beat in my mind in the AL East. I think that this Devers drama, this mismanagement of Devers, because again, I'm not putting this on Devers. I'm putting this on the Red Sox front office. I think that's what's hurting them here at 20-20. But they'll come to Yankee Stadium and they'll win, and that'll turn things around, and it's going to be down on the wire in the AL East between them two. The Blue Jays are not great, especially now that Vladdy's kind of not playing for the contract. He's just playing to play. He got the contract. Congrats to him, but contract years make a difference. I don't think, I don't think they're a playoff team. The Rays are the Rays and the Orioles. Boy, did you shoot yourself in the foot. You did nothing this offseason. Nothing. I mean, if anybody should have went and got pitching, it was you. Because you already had the lineup. You were already a good hitting team. You didn't have the pitching behind it. So you went and got Sagano. Great. But he's not an ace, and that's what you really needed. That's what you needed. Pitching. Now look, Mullins is leaving after this year. Jackson Holliday has found it. He's really good. Gunnar Henderson will find it. Adley Rutschman will find it. He started off great, and now he's kind of fizzled out just a bit. O'Hearn, I mean, this lineup is still dangerous. You don't have the pitching. You don't even have close to it. And where are you right now? Last place in the NL East. That's a difficult place to come back from at any point in the season, even if it's day one. If you are the last place team in your division, you can pretty much kiss the playoffs goodbye. I know it's really early and sure anything can happen, but the Orioles are not making the playoffs. And it's their own fault for being stagnant this offseason. That's how I feel about that. That's what I think about that. Moving on to the Pirates. Why? Because they fired Derek Shelton. I'm a little upset by this. I have to say. It's a little annoying that the Pirates have fired Derek Shelton. Because the Pirates are in last place in the National League Central. 13-26. Good prospect pool, right? Paul Skeens, we know, right? But that's it, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's Paul Skeens' team, and this is only his second season in the league. It's Paul Skeens' team, and then you haven't put anything around it. You have Andrew McCutchen, who's bordering retirement, batting third in your best hitter spot, right? And you can put that on Shelton, sure, fine. Let's just say that putting the lineup together and the lineup that they put out there with what he has is Shelton's fault. And it is. But the lineup that he has or what he has to work with is not his fault. That's the front office's fault. And everyone has known for a while that the Pirates are doing nothing. They have not invested. And now you have the best pitcher in baseball, arguably, right? Because I'd still go with Skubal if I had to. But you have one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, a generational talent. You have another pitcher like him loading up in the farm system in Jared Jones. You put money into Reynolds, and that's kind of not working out the way you thought it would. He's still really solid, right? You put money into Brian Hayes, and you got him. He's got a bad ace. He's not great at the plate, but he's a solid defender. But is that now going to stop you from investing? Make a move here and there? Surround your team? I mean, you're in one of the most open divisions in baseball. And you've done nothing about it. And so now you know a change is in order. You have to do something. Fire the manager. But this isn't his fault. I'm tired of ML. As you can see, there's a theme here, right? MLB front offices are pointing fingers at their organization not being good when it's their own fault. Orioles, Red Sox, right? Pointing the finger at Devers. Now the Pirates. This is a very fixable problem, and the fix isn't firing Derek Shelton. It's just putting some money where your mouth is. You have the most beautiful stadium in baseball, arguably, between them and probably San Francisco. And I haven't been to San Francisco yet, but I can say out of the ones that I've been to, PNC Park is the nicest one by far. But the fix is not firing Derek Shelton. The fix is putting some talent around Paul Skeens. Promote Jared Jones. Don't have your guy who's pushing retirement hitting in your best play, your best hitter slot where he's going to drive in RBIs. Fine, I'll put that one move on Derek Shelton, but the rest of it is not on him. I'm sorry. So now we look at the NL Central landscape. The Cubs are going to run away with it because they're good. Pete Crow Armstrong has turned into a talent, and he's hard to deny. When you can run that fast, that by itself usually makes you pretty annoying to deal with as a pitcher, as a defense. But on top of that, he's hitting the ball well. He's covering ground in the outfield. And then Kyle Tucker's hitting behind him, and he's hitting well. Seiya Suzuki's adjusting to the designated hitter role. He didn't want it. I don't know. Fine, whatever. But it's working out. It's working out in the Cubs' favor. They are scary to deal with. Nico Horner's hitting the ball well. Ian Happ is hitting the ball well. This division, before the season started, I was calling it for the Reds. They've kind of fallen off. I mean, it's early, but I can't see any of the rest of these teams catching up to the Cubs. They're 2 games above the Cardinals, who are a wash in my book. They'll make like a run in September or in August, and then they'll just fall off, and the Cubs will easily take this division because that's just how this division's set up. The Brewers shouldn't have been there last year. They got the same team, and you're kind of seeing where they should have been, which is where they are right now. So that's that with them. But the Central on the AL side, oh my God, are the Tigers good. This is my favorite team to watch this year. I'm loving seeing Gleyber Torres flourish as a Detroit Tiger. I'm loving seeing the resurgence of Javier Baez as a center fielder. By the way, Baez is hitting 8th in that lineup because Kerry Carpenter is up at the top. Riley Green is up at the top. This team is really good. If you thought the Tigers last year, when it was a gimmick where AJ Hinch was bringing in pitchers and pinch hitters left and right, were good, remember, Tarek Skubal's still there and dominating. I think he had 11 strikeouts last night, right? Or 9, something crazy. On top of that, Jack Flaherty's there, who won a World Series with the Dodgers last year, and he was the pitcher for them. He was the guy for the Dodgers on the mound last year. And he's there too. Last year in the postseason, the Tigers, once you got past Tarek Skubal, they were like playing this game where Reese Olson would come out of the bullpen in the second inning and a reliever would start the game, right? They're not doing that this year. They're coming right at you. Gleyber Torres is leading off, right? Or Kerry Carpenter, depending on who's on the mound. And then it's Gleyber Torres. And then Andy Ibanez and Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson, who's having a massive season. And Colt Keith. I mean, this team, top to bottom, if you don't know these names, learn them. Because this is the future of the MLB, is the Detroit Tigers. And I'm going to say something. And I'm going to say it right here. The one team in all of baseball that I think can really easily beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series is the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers. Because you're not beating Skubal. So that's one. Then you got to put something really good up against Flaherty to stop him. So I think Flaherty gives you two. And 2 times 2, right? If they do that twice, that's 4. In a 7-game series with AJ Hinch, a World Series manager at the helm, you don't beat this team in a 4-game series. Nobody does. Nobody does. I don't think Ohtani hits Skubal the way he hits anybody else. I don't think Freeman hits Skubal the way he hits anybody else. Right? That's not Nestor Cortez Jr. It's Tarek freaking Skubal. And I'm also predicting in the American League back-to-back Cy Youngs for Tarek Skubal. Let's say that. And before this season started, I think I like the Royals here, right? I want to say that's what I said. And it's not that the Royals aren't good and they can't do it. I think they can. I just think when push comes to shove, you're going to have to play each other. And the Tigers have the edge. I mean, it's going to be a great game if we see Cole Reagans versus Tarek Skubal, but I'm giving Tarek Skubal the edge. Right? And then you go lineup for lineup. I mean, it's Bobby Witt Jr., and it's a great season for Jonathan India so far as a Royal. But beyond that, I mean, they're a tough lineup to really win games with. They are. So let's move on to the NL West, because there's something developing in the NL West. And it's a 3-team race out there. And I don't think anybody saw that coming. But the big thing here is, that I don't like, is it's on your screen. If you're watching this on video, if you're watching this on live, or you're watching it on YouTube, if you're not, if you're on Spotify, we'll break it down for you. In first place are the Dodgers, right? They share the best record in baseball with the Detroit Tigers at 26-13. In second place are the San Diego Padres at 24-13. Now remember, the Dodgers got 2 wins in Tokyo before everybody else got started. So that's why they're at 26 and not at 24. Right? So 26-13 are the Dodgers, first place. They're the favorites at -440. Remember that. Then in second place is San Diego, who looks really good. And at home, they look even better. They started their season 11-0 at Petco Park. That's incredible. Those Padres are 24-13. 1 game back right now from the Dodgers, right? They're plus 600 to win the NL West. That's an 1,000-point odds difference. That's the biggest difference between a 1 and 2 team in all of baseball right now. And mind you, again, the Padres are 1 game back. 1. This is also the team that the Dodgers were a little bit afraid of last year in the playoffs. They didn't want to play in San Diego. They almost lost. I think if the Padres didn't get a little too cocky, they would have lost. But 24-13, 1 game back. And then behind the Padres are the San Francisco Giants, surprisingly, at 24-15. So they're a game behind the Padres. So all 3 of those teams are separated from each other by just a game. And the Giants are plus 1,600 to win the division. So there's 1,000-point difference. I mean, Vegas is giving each game difference 1,000 odds points, which is crazy to me. Now, I kind of get it when it comes to the Giants, because I think this is a bubble performance, right? I think this is going to burst soon in San Francisco. I don't think that they're as good as they're performing. Right? I think Willie Adames has had a hot start to the season. So has Jung Ho Lee, but I don't think they'll be in third place at the end of things. That's for sure. Then Arizona's 6 games back at 2019. They're off to a rough start there. Cattell Marte's back for them, and it's kind of not paying dividends for them. I'm not sure what's going on in Arizona. But that's a little odd. Considering that the Dodgers are hurt, that's a bit odd to me. But I think the biggest concern in Los Angeles right now, sorry, I think the biggest concern in Los Angeles right now is Roki Sasaki. He's really underperforming. 1-1 to start the season with a 4.72 ERA. Sports Illustrated has named Roki Sasaki one of the biggest disappointments in sports of 2025. I'm so sorry, Roki. But I'm sorry, Roki, but I knew this was going to happen to him. I knew it. I knew it. He does not belong in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. That moment that he decided that's where he was going to go was where everything plummeted for him. He doesn't fit there. You're on a Dodgers team that has the eyes of the world on them right now. You're on a Dodgers team that is expecting to not only go back to, but also win the World Series again this year. With some of the biggest names in baseball, including the biggest, who is your countryman, in Shohei Ohtani. And then it's MVP, former MVP Mookie Betts, former MVP Freddie Freeman. I mean, former two-time Cy Young winner Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and then Roki Sasaki, this young, very young pitcher from Japan. And he's on the biggest team in all of baseball history. That was a bad decision. In my mind, this offseason, if I was Roki's manager, I would have said, I know you want to play with someone from Japan, but you're young, and that environment at the Dodgers is not going to be conducive. You want to win and play in a more friendly place for your development with someone from your country, you should go to the Cubs, where they're going to love you and you'll be with Shota Imanaga. Or you should go to the Baltimore Orioles, where you can be with Sugano and another team that's all young and still developing and very good and competitive. Instead, it's like if you went to go play with your idol, right? Like, I would not have been successful on the 97 Yankees. I would not have been successful on the 99 Yankees, playing with Derek Jeter. That's exactly what's happening to Roki Sasaki. Even Shohei Ohtani didn't go. Remember, that whole Dodgers team, the core of the core of the Dodgers are not homegrown talents. Shohei Ohtani went to the Angels from Japan, not the Dodgers. There's no pressure to win in LA, in Anaheim. There's no pressure to win in Anaheim. Mookie came from the Red Sox in a trade. Freddie was a Brave. Snell was a few different teams. Glasnow was a Ray. Teoscar was a Blue Jay. So Sasaki going straight from Japan, skipping the minors, and straight to this Dodgers rotation, where there's pressure to win, was a detrimental decision to his career and his legacy. He should have gone to the Cubs, and it would be working out better for both him and the Cubs. Because look at the Cubs now. Imagine hit them with a good Roki Sasaki. Roki, fire your manager. Hire me. I'll get you somewhere where you can be good. How is Ohtani supposed to take him under his wing when Ohtani is the player with the most pressure on earth on him right now? He has to be good at what he's doing. He can't take time out of that to now go mentor Sasaki. Maybe Yamamoto can, but he's under the same pressure as Sasaki. It was a bad idea. And Sasaki's sort of paying for it. On to the AL West. And what's shaping up to be just like last year in my mind. Right? Because the Mariners are in first with the lack of hitting that they still seem to have, although it's, they've hit more than last year already, which is good. But they're not a great hitting team. So what do? Got to add more hitting because the Astros are again biting at your heels. So you've got to step it up because Hunter Brown is having a monster season as the Astros pretty much ace right now. They're still winning games. But you don't have the offensive output to stay in first place. Mariners are 22-15, 3 games ahead of the Astros, and the Athletics were somehow also just 3 games back from the Mariners. But the Athletics odds are like insane, plus 1,500 to win the AL West. I mean, they're saying it's impossible. The Rangers are 5 games back and have better odds to win it than the Athletics do. But I think it's neither of those teams. I think it's the Mariners or the Astros. And the Mariners need to really step it up. And now on to the ANL East. And look at those Mets go. They're pretty good, guys. They're having a great start to the season. Juan Soto's working out very well for them. I mean, he's Juan Soto. He would work out anywhere. He'd be good anywhere. He's just that guy. Now, it's not just that the Mets have played very well, right? Clay Holmes is off to a great start to the season, his first year as a starter. So maybe that was just mismanagement by the Yankees staff to have had him as a closer and not a starter. I mean, the Mets pitching staff also kind of fixed Sean Manaea after years of being subpar, so it could be something there. Some teams just kind of have that effect on pitchers. Some staffs they just know how to rebuild a pitcher. And right now it looks like the Mets have one of those staffs. The other thing, though, is the National League East is not very good right now. Right now. I think it'll heat up, but right now, they're not that good. Because the Phillies, all right, it says it there. The Phillies, in my mind, have plateaued. They need to make a giant change in that organization if they want to win. That looks like a team that needs a new manager. Because you've been given the tools. You just haven't been able to win. All right, this is not Derek Shelton in Pittsburgh. This is a guy that has studs. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, now Jesus Luzardo, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. That's a great team. But they're stuck here. They need to get here and win, right? They were almost there when they went up against Houston a couple years ago and lost. But that's it. They've kind of leveled out. There has to be like a surge here. And I think in this instance, it comes from coaching. Unless you can find a way to steal another, I don't even know what it is you need. I don't even know what it is you need. Right? Like, what do the Phillies not have? They have great bullpen. They've got Alvarado and Matt Strum. Like they've got great starting pitching. They've got Zach Wheeler at the 1, Nola at the 2, now Luzardo and Ranger Suarez. They've got a great lineup. They got speed. They've got power. They got contact. What do they need? There's only one thing that can really make a difference here. The front office has done their job. The players are doing theirs. It's just one thing, and I think they should need a new manager. This is a situation that screams you need a new manager. Right? But when you look at the odds, the Phillies and the Braves, I just put it on my Instagram and TikTok, they're in the top 5, both of them, to win the World Series. They're above the Tigers. They're above the Cubs. They're above most of these other teams. There are 3 teams in the NL East that are in the top 5 to win the World Series. And then it's the Dodgers and Yankees who are at the 1 and the 2. Then it's Mets 3, Phillies 4, Braves 5. Or the other way around. Maybe Phillies 5, Braves 4. If I'm not mistaken. But it's down there, actually. It's crossing right now. Perfect. Look, 4 Braves, Phillies 5. And the Braves aren't off to a good start either. They're 18-20. They just signed Alex Verdugo because they needed to do something, and he's actually been pretty solid for them. But I think that the Braves are literally just waiting to see what happens when Acuna and Strider are back. Actually, I know that. I think that's kind of known around the league is that this team is going to be different when those 2 guys show up. And they will be, but how different, right? Because what if they're not as good as they were when they left? Or they need like a month, right, to get back to where they are. And by that time, maybe it's too late. You know, by that time, another team has made a run at the wild card, and all of a sudden, the Braves are kind of on the outside looking in. That was almost the situation for them last year. But the Mets are taking advantage of that. Good, great. That's what they should do. That's what you should be doing. Right? I mean, you're doing good. The rest of your division's not. Take off with the division. Run away with it. Win it. Let Pete Alonso revenge season come through, which, by the way, they better hope that Pete Alonso, this isn't a revenge season because he's doing good enough. This is the season he needed to have last year. This Mets team is better than the Mets last year by a lot. By a lot, right? Like the Mets at this point last year were not even close to a conversation. The Mets right now are really good. If they can stay somewhat like what they're playing now, they will run away with the NL East. And Pete Alonso's a big part of that. So we're not talking Lindor anymore in Queens. They're talking about Pete. And if Pete is angry enough, Goldschmidt's on a 1-year rental in the Bronx. Right? And Vladdy signed with the Blue Jays, which means that the first baseman market is going to be between Munetaka Murakami coming from Japan, which we know is happening, and Pete Alonso. And one of them's proven in the MLB, the other one's not. So the market for any team looking for a first baseman is going to be very high on Pete Alonso. The Mets better hope and pray that he doesn't want to make them pay for making him wait this offseason. So that's pretty much the show. I thank everybody who joined on Instagram Live. I couldn't go live on TikTok this week for whatever reason. But that's the episode. Thank you guys for joining. These are the games that you guys should watch tonight. Today's what, Saturday? Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to your mothers, and if you're a mother, happy Mother's Day to you. The games to watch through this weekend, or the series to watch: Tigers, Rangers. I mean, Scooble dominated. Tonight it's Flaherty versus DeGrom. That's going to be really good. So definitely check that out. Phillies Guardians has shaped up to be a really good series as well. Cubs Mets. I think the Mets had a 3-run homer from Juan Soto. It was a really good game, so that one should be really good tonight as well. And then Dodgers Diamondbacks was a really good one too, and they've got another one tonight. So thank you guys for joining. I will see you guys probably Friday. We'll do this again Friday because that's the day I normally do it. So I will see you guys again later this week. May the odds be with you. Thank you guys.